They hated me at dialysis for the whole 2 years. I would go to, do my 3.5 hours, 4 hours sometimes, and I would bring me McDonald's every day. I would have a cheeseburger every day because I'm like, shoot, they're cleaning me out. I'm dying here.
Dr. LaTonya Bias's life changed when she was first diagnosed with lupus over 20 years ago. Although lupus chose her, she overcame and learned to adapt to lupus while living her life to the fullest. Mrs. Bias will share lessons, inform, inspire, and with a variety of professionals and friends, encourage lupus sufferers to take back their life. Join LaTonya as she guides you on a journey through life with an autoimmune disease and teaches you ways to love your life with lupus. This is Lupus, It Chose Me. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Lupus, It Chose Me podcast. We are so excited to have you back with us today. And as always, we have a very special guest. Today, we have with us Nefertiti Ross. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us today. When I tell you that this is a special guest, she is a special guest. And so we are going to jump right in, Nefertiti, and start by just getting to know you. Tell us a little bit about where you live, about your family, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay. I am a current resident of Azusa, California, as I mentioned before, 10 miles away from Pasadena.
Uh-huh.
I am just turned 47 years old. I've been living with lupus since 1996. Mm-hmm. I have two grown sons, the age 21 and 25. I'm starting over in life, so I'm learning a lot and I'm seeing a lot and unlearning some things.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, life has been good to me. Lupus has been a roller coaster, but I'm living through it. And I'm here to just encourage someone, inspire someone to just keep going because it's tough, and it's unbearable and it's hard to deal with, but you can deal with it. So, we all need the support and I'm glad to be here with you all.
Well, thank you so much. I wanted to just ask you, I saw on your social media, on your Instagram, that you put lupus doesn't have me. Mm-hmm. And I love that. LaTonya has written a book called Lupus, It Chose Me. And so I think about it in the same regard. She's saying lupus chose me, and you're saying lupus doesn't have me. It chose me, but it doesn't have me. So talk to me a little bit about that mantra, lupus doesn't have me.
I say that because, I have lupus, and it's done things to me that was supposed to stop me, you know what I mean, from being the person that I was before lupus happened. So when I say it doesn't have me, it's like I have it, but it's not going to limit me, from what I've used to do in the past and what, I can do. I don't want lupus to be a limit for me. I don't want it to be a sentence, like a prison sentence. You know what I mean? I want to continue to live a semi-normal life. And then when lupus attacks, I deal with it as it comes. So it's like, I don't look for pity.
Uh-huh.
I don't mope around, lupus this, lupus that, because I don't want to give lupus that energy. And that's what I mean by I have lupus, it doesn't have me, because it doesn't control my life. It does when it attacks, because I have no choice, but to roll with the punches. But on the good days, I'm absolutely not thinking about, the next time I'm going to be sick or down from lupus. So that's
tell the lupus world what type of lupus you have.
Actually, I was diagnosed with discoid lupus, which it started with a small pimple on the side of my face. It was a small pimple, but it filled with pus. It wasn't a regular pimple. So I went to, I was pregnant at the time, 21 years old. And I just happened to tell my doctor I have this pimple and it just won't go away. I was like, is this a symptom? Just being pregnant, what is it? It won't go away. And all they could do at the time was do a biopsy. So they did the biopsy, and then that's when they determined that I had discoid lupus. Then in 2010, I ended up having sepsis. And then I was diagnosed with SLE and chronic kidney disease. So I am diagnosed with discoid lupus and SLE.
Oh, wow.
They say it's common, one or the other. They end up combining.
Yeah.
Statistics to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, but my really the skin is the main thing,
Factor for you.
has attacked worse, the most. Yeah,
So when you discovered the pimple and then they gave you the lupus diagnosis, telling you that the pimple was a result of you having discoid lupus, did you know what that was, and where did you go from there?
No, I did not. Also, another thing they did, another symptom I had, I forgot to mention, excuse me, I had a quarter size patch, bald spot, like right at the top of my scalp. So they took skin from there as well. So that helped determine what it was. But once I was diagnosed, I was like, what is this? Like, Mom, Mom's like, what is this? Because she was with me. Like, lupus, what is this? Like, no one in our family has this, never heard of it. And the doctors told me, we haven't heard of it either. We don't know what to do. It's a new disease. And it's like, yes, this is what they told me. And they were like, you're basically going to be a guinea pig because we don't know how to treat this.
And that was in California.
This was in California in 1996.
Wow.
But this was, this was my prenatal doctor. But once when I saw like my OBGYN and things like that, my, primary doctor is just like, oh no, we know nothing. It's very limited treatment for this. We don't know what to do. I was in high risk pregnancy, both pregnancies. I was advised not to have any more children. My first go around, but I was like, no, I have to have one more because my husband at the time was the only child. So I was like, I got to have one more. But yeah, the emotion was like, okay, am I going to die? I just turned 21. It's like, I'm pregnant with my first child, just graduated from college. Like, hadn't graduated yet, but I'm like, I was a senior in college, about to graduate. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like, it kind of crushed me at first because it's like, I'm striving for this and now I'm given a death sentence. But they're like, oh, there's no cure. So it's like, but my mother's very supportive. And by her being the strong woman that she is, she's like, no negativity. We're going to get through this, regardless, we're going to get through this and you're going to live. She's like, you believe in God, don't you? Yes, I do. So she was like, we're going to just keep our faith. And we're just going to keep moving forward. We're not going to just stop and you're not going to mope around here. You're not going to have your head down. You're going to walk tall, keep your head up high, and we're just going to deal with it as it comes. So
I want to meet your mom.
I know, right? Oof. I just need a big hug from her.
I know.
Yes. That's a warrior right there.
But yeah, she's my girl. That's my biggest supporter.
Did you do like research, like Google, because I know when I first was diagnosed and I found out, I ran to the internet, couldn't find anything, got the same, information results. But what did you do? I know you was.
Technology wasn't where it is today in 1996. Right. So Googling, that was not, wasn't here to do. So it's like, I'm, I guess because I only had that scar and a patch, and the only symptoms I had was I always had headaches since a child. The sun always affected me as a child. I couldn't be out. I couldn't play for long. I would have a headache and have to go lay down. So I've always had that symptom. So I was like, it was normal. But yeah, it just. I'm sorry. I got a brain fog already.
That's okay.
That's okay. It's okay. It's all right here in this environment. We good.
That's right. So another symptom.
Repeat that one more time.
No, so basically just wanting to know, did you Google? Did you kind of, what did you run to? I know you had your mom, but were you trying to research and try to figure out more about it? Because for my example, I ran. I was anything and everything, asking questions and wasn't getting any results at all.
Where did you find information?
I did not. I just took what the doctor said, because when I was diagnosed in 96, all they gave me was a cream.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and the cream worked. believe it or not, the cream actually worked.
Okay.
The scar went away,
Mm-hmm.
but my hair never grew back. So
Mm-hmm.
over time, I didn't start have major symptoms. Like I was diagnosed in 96, but my major symptoms didn't start to 2009.
Oh,
So from
really?
that time, all I dealt with was headaches and fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I'm used to this, it's nothing wrong. You know what I mean? But 2009 came, patches started to fall out. I started getting more scars. And so this is around the time before I had sepsis. And then that's when I was determined I had kidney problems. So it progressed. So that's why I wasn't worried about finding out more information, because the cream worked.
Mm-hmm.
I was still out in the sun living a normal life. When
Yeah.
I got headaches, I just went and lay down like I used to do, would do.
Still today.
That's
So,
how I was
T,
up until 2010.
so you went for like a little over a decade without really any symptoms. Like, did your body feel fatigue? All those things. Did you feel
Yeah,
any of that along the way?
Yeah, I had fatigues and headache. That was it. And then in my pregnancies, I felt
She was already high risk.
the heaviness of carrying a child and those symptoms. So I'm just thinking, oh, pregnant.
All a part of pregnancy.
It comes with the territory. I have a headache. I've been having headaches since 5 years old. Been tired. I can go in the sun and get tired. So I was used to it all. So I didn't think it was lupus related. You understand? You understand what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So I just felt like I've dealt with this all my life. It's nothing new. But then, like I said, as the scarring came and I started to lose my hair, and then, like I said, I got the sepsis, that's when my lupus treatment actually started with medication.
You think it's hereditary? Do you think maybe it was hereditary?
No one in my family on both sides of my family has any of this.
No rheumatory, no multiple
I
sclerosis.
have arthritis and high blood pressure.
That's it.
And my father, he's a diabetic, but that's it. No one has any major health conditions. My grandmother, my father's side, passed. She had heart issues. And then my grandmother, my mom's side, she passed because she got an infection in her leg where she got gangrene in it. So it was like an infection, so it was nothing like her heart, anything like that. But no one in my family, they like, what happened to you? No one we don't know.
I find today that these doctors really don't understand still, because I got an infection from getting my nails done, you guys, and it was itchy and it started pussing up and on the tip of my cuticle area. So I called my doctor and was like, listen, I need something. I need, some type of antibiotic because it's internal. And I don't want to get sick. Okay, they prescribed me like penicillin or something. I can't even remember what it was. And I was like, listen, y'all, I have an autoimmune disease. This little stuff right here that you give to kids is not going to work for me. I know y'all think that just because I have a little, it's a little, bacteria by the nail, it can spread. It can turn to anything. So please, do you know they gave me something else that was minuteness. It took forever to clear up. They was like, well, just take off your nails. I said, I don't have any nails on. I was so mad with them. I was so hot.
I've actually had doctors like go and see the doctor, have nurses. What is lupus?
Yeah.
What happened?
They still don't understand to this day.
What do you mean? You're in the nephrology department. You don't know what lupus is? I was baffled. Like, where am I at? And it's just.
So tell me a little bit about your medication. Several people that we talk to talk about the myriad of medications that they were placed on.
Yeah, they're different regimens.
Tell me about where you started with medications and where you are now, and that whole medication evolution.
Okay. When I first was diagnosed with the discoid, my medication was just a topical. It was called Elicon. So like I said, that worked. Then 2010 came with the whole lupus and kidney issues. That's why I went on Cellcept. I started prednisone, Plaquenil. A couple of years after that, I got on Benlysta to try to treat the lupus and calm it down, but that didn't work. So I did like 4 or 5 rounds of Rituxan, which was a 4-hour infusion. So, yeah, I've been on a lot of stuff. And currently I'm on Prograf. I take 12 pills a day for that, 6 and 6. I'm on high blood pressure pills. I'm still on Plaquenil for lupus. I take 1 tablet a day. Prednisone, I really don't need that right now because the lupus is pretty calm.
Right.
So I don't really need it for the pain. But when I do, need it, I take
Yeah,
it. But it's
pain
not
and inflammation.
as frequent. And plus, I was only on 1 milligram.
Okay.
So it was, they wanted me to wean completely off anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, really, and I'm on my just on my kidney anti-rejection meds.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long you have to stay on that one?
Forever.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to keep the kidney together. Yeah, so that, and I take recalcitrol. That's like another. It helps me with my calcium, and then I have one more. Oh goodness, why am I going blank? I have one more kidney pill that I take just to regulate and just to keep things stable. So they're working.
As far as your regimen for food, how do you keep your calcium down? Do you watch your sugars?
I watch now because when I first had the transplant, and after 2 years of my reviews, they're like, live your life, eat what you want. But I'm like, no, I'm not going to eat what I want because throughout my journey with lupus, I'm finding out that our gut health is everything. If I knew more about how our gut health, is supposed to be, you know what I mean? Our immune system.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have known this years ago, I would have changed my diet a long time ago. Because everything starts in our gut. And so now I'm leery about everything I eat. I don't say I don't eat bad, I'm saying? Because I do still eat, regular food, but I'm really more conscious of what I'm putting in my system now. I'm getting more fruits and vegetables, I'm trying to eat, better, make better choices. And like, I don't eat a lot of beef, as of now, I eat, chicken, turkey, stuff like that. And of course, salmon and shrimp, fish, stuff like that. But I'm really watching, I'm really trying to make better choices. Really.
I agree
can't
with
reverse
you.
what I've done throughout the years, but, I can make better choices going forward.
I agree with you. Someone told me years ago, I was on a treadmill and I was asking them how long they were going to be on the treadmill. I was ready to get off the treadmill. I weighed like 90 pounds, so I wasn't really treading, honey. I was like, And I was like, how much longer are we going to be? Because I want a burger. And that person told me, like, girl, you keep on, when you turn 40, you're going to wish you wasn't eating those burgers. And I tell you, to this day, I said, Lord, I should have listened. I should have listened.
That's funny you said burgers, because when I was on dialysis for 2 years, they hated me at dialysis. For the whole 2 years, I would go to, do my 3.5 hours, 4 hours sometimes, and I would bring me McDonald's every day. I would have a cheeseburger every day. Because I'm like, shoot, they're cleaning me out. I'm dying here. What I want, they're clearing me out anyway. So,
right.
But I don't eat McDonald's cheeseburgers anymore.
Yeah, that's good.
I know that's right. It's like, I'm getting cleansed anyway. Can I get some fries?
That was, they're like, oh, that's not, you shouldn't think like that. But I'm like, look, as much as I'm going through right now in my life, let me eat this burger.
Let me eat whatever I want.
That's right. That's right.
So in terms of your regimen, Nefertiti, is it strictly medication, or do you have other maybe holistic practices that you introduce into your regimen? Do you have anything like that? Or are you really just sort of, just trying to keep up with your meds, taking your meds and staying on top of that?
Actually, I take my normal meds, but I have some supplements I take. Like I take black seed oil every morning with, with juice to wash it down. I take sea moss pills. I put them in my smoothies, and I take like my B vitamins and vitamin D.
And vitamin D.
I, do those things, and then like I said, watch what I eat, and I, consume my smoothies daily. So those little things. But anything other than that, no.
So do you feel like those, the augmenting the supplements and just a healthy diet really helps support the treatment that you get from your medication? Do you feel like it really helps?
Energy-wise, yes.
Energy-wise, yeah.
Because I still deal with fatigue a lot, even though I don't do much, but going to the grocery store still in this heat that we've been having lately, I'm
Mhm.
whooped. I could be out for an hour and a half to shopping, doing whatever, and I'm just done. I'm
It will
spent.
drain you, man. It will drain you. Hmm.
Yeah. So I still deal with that, and I still have um, occasional pain, joint pain, and things like that. It's normal. I'm come to, used to it. I'm used to it. I come to live with it.
Okay.
So, yeah, but that's really where I'm at as far as the worst.
Mhm.
I'm really in a good spot right now. And I don't mean to emphasize that, but I am. The transplant has really changed a lot and calmed the lupus down. But I still deal with fatigue and, the fatigue.
Okay.
No, it's
Yeah.
good that you do emphasize because we want the world to know that you can love your life with lupus.
Mhm.
You can live and love your life with lupus. So absolutely, and we appreciate that. I think we're going to have to go to break.
Mhm.
All right.
All right, and we'll see you guys here in a moment.
Author LaTonya Bias has had lupus for over 3 decades. The diagnosis and disease totally overwhelmed her life, changing everything. This medical memoir chronicles her journey with the autoimmune disease. Offering wisdom, research, and personal anecdotes about how to best live with lupus, how to reclaim your life, all the while providing inspiration and grace to both newly diagnosed and long-term survivors. Available online at Amazon, Westbow Press, Barnes & Noble, and LoveLifeLupusFoundation.org.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us today. And we are getting ready to jump right back in to this conversation. So, Nefertiti, beautiful eyes that you have. You do have the most beautiful eyes. They just light up like your
Yes.
personality. They do. They
Thank
light up like your personality. So, what I want to know is, did you have to hide the fact that you had lupus? And if so, how did you do that?
The only way that, yes, to answer the question, yes, I did hide it. Um, I hid it only in terms of my career. I was a corporate accountant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in that whole corporate world, and image is everything. And plus, I didn't want the stares or the questions. And plus, I didn't want them to use that against me, as a sign of weakness,
Mm-hmm.
So I did cover up. I wore makeup my entire career since my skin started to change.
Mm-hmm.
I did let my boss know what was going on prior to me being hired.
Mm-hmm.
Just letting them know, but my resume spoke for itself. So I got the job and everything was cool. But like I said, I went to work covered, all the time because I wanted to focus on my job. I didn't want, the onlookers, and I didn't want the question. I just didn't want to be the center of attention.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as my family goes and the skin changes, it was terrible because they're looking at me like, what can I do? Like, what is wrong? What can you put on your skin? And what? Like, I have the answers. I'm like, I don't know. So it's just that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm changing, but everybody's looking at me like I'm the one to correct it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, the doctors are saying this. Once it starts, it's not going to stop. And I had to accept that. Once they
What
tell,
did your,
excuse me.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was curious, what did your kids say as they saw mommy go through this transformation?
Not a word. Not a word. They just, I brought it up to them. How do I embarrass you around your friends? But, a lot of times when I'm around their friends, I was already covered, picking them up from
Okay.
school. I was already covered. But sometimes, at home, I'm plain Jane,
Mm-hmm.
and they, I would ask them about it. They were like, Mom, you're our mom. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they've seen me with clear skin, with just a couple scars. So they've seen me normal,
Mm-hmm.
they see me with a clear face. So they know where I come from.
Right.
I know the changes were hard for them, but they never pouted about it.
Mm-hmm.
They never were mad about it. They never expressed disgust. You know what I mean? They just carried on with their lives, Like I asked them, what did you tell your friends? They was like, my friends never, once I told them what it was, they never asked about it again. And I guess because of my attitude and my upbeat spirit, their friends just interact with me normally. You know what I mean? Their parents accepted me and, things like that. But yeah, it's just the changing, just the questions, the stares, and, it's your family like, gosh, is there anything? And it's like, stop with all that. Please stop, because I'm the one dealing with it. And it's like, when you do that, it just puts more pressure on me. It makes me feel some kind of way. So, yeah, it's hard. I'm not going to lie. The changes, it took me a while to accept it, like personally accept it. Like, outside socially, I covered up. So I just roll with the punches. But home alone, my husband's looking at me in the rough. He's telling me he loves me and I'm still beautiful and things like that. But inside, it's like, no. This is not how you met me. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know you're affected. I still get emotional.
That's okay.
That's okay. That's all right. That's good. That's okay. That's what we're here for. Did the doctors misdiagnose you, like with vitiligo?
Actually, last year I was diagnosed with that.
Really?
Yeah, my doctor was saying it's like pre-vitiligo and I'm pre-cancer, skin cancer stage. So I have an appointment to see him soon just to see what the next stage is going to be, because he gave me another topical, plus, the highest milligrams that it could be, but it's not working. It's actually spread on my arms, things like that. So I just stopped with all that completely.
Let me read a statistic, you guys. It says discoid lupus affects between 2 and 5 out of every 10,000 people. Women much more often affected than men. And I know we had a male guest a while back. I don't know if you had a chance to see that. And he was diagnosed with SLE. And one of his stories was that he would go and they would try to give him medication that was related to women. And so that's one of the reasons why I kind of asked that question, were you misdiagnosed? Because, it don't matter if you male or female, it seems as though we do run across that issue in some form or fashion. So
no, I wasn't. And especially when I got the, lupus nephritis, that diagnosis, that's when I had chronic kidney disease, that / lupus nephritis. So with that, once the kidneys start being attacked, they have to be careful with all the other medications. You know what I mean? Like the lupus, had to be managed differently. And I can take certain pills because of the kidney. So there's some things like for my skin, there was a treatment that could clear it, but I can't take it because of my kidney. It's going to damage my kidney. So it's a win-win. I mean, a catch-22.
Right.
Like take it to clear your face or go back on dialysis. I'll just have this face because I'm not going back to dialysis. I can't do that anymore. Now, if I have to, that's a different thing. But by choice, no, I can't do that.
Absolutely.
I only did it because it kept me alive.
Yeah. So you mentioned a little bit earlier about your relationship with your husband, and if it's too much, you don't have to talk about it. But so his reaction to you as you were transforming, because you went from just a little spot at 20 years old, and then 20 years later, you are where you are. How was that for him? And for you, you talked about what he would say to you, and it sounded like you didn't necessarily believe him. So tell us a little bit about that dynamic, because we know that this disease changes relationships, changes marriages. It's hard on relationships. And if you can just give us a little insight into how challenging that is.
He was as supportive as he could be. And I thank him for that. I love him for that, even though we're not together anymore. But I think, to be honest, over the years, our demise was because how heavy this situation is. And at the point where we separate, I was in really bad shape. It's like you can only go through so much, And when I started, before I got on dialysis, I even asked him, like, was it too much? Like, if it's too much, we can part ways. I understood, because I wanted him to live his life. You know, I didn't want to limit him because what I was going through. You know what I mean? You know, I didn't care about vows at the time because I want you to be happy. You know, but I know it affected him because he fell in love with that beautiful girl with long hair and clear skin. And then when I started to lose my hair, when I lose it all and I'm lost my skin, I'm a whole nother person to you. You know, so that's what I meant when he told me, you know, I was beautiful. And I'm like, but still I've changed drastically. You know, I know it affects you because you have friends who see your wife, you know, and they, you know what I mean? So I covered up a lot. I went out, I covered, I just covered. When I'm home, I didn't, you know. But like I said, after I had the transplant, I didn't care anymore. You know? I didn't care. But yeah, it was, I believe that contributed to our separation because it just got hard because to the point to where I couldn't work anymore, one income, and it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having the courage to talk about that because I know that it's hard. Marriage without any illnesses is challenging enough, and so when you layer this on top of it, it's challenging. I know. So tell us what matters the most to you in your life right now.
What matters to me the most right now is peace of mind. I remain at peace to keep my health at bay. Like, I can't stress over the things I've lost. And the past 5 years have been hard for me, starting over. You know, so I'm like, try to just stay grounded. You know, I can go there. It's like I overthink a lot.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It's okay.
And I try to remain at peace and just appreciate where I am now.
Yes.
And the blessing that I have, you know, this second chance at life. So,
Yes. Girl.
that keeps me focused because it could have been totally left. You know, I couldn't have, you know, what if I didn't get that transplant?
Yeah.
That's right.
I may not be here today. So I just look at what God has blessed me with. It's like, look, I started off when I was born, I was a preemie. I was born 2 months early. So I was fighting for my life coming into this world. And I feel with this lupus, God is like, I got you. You know?
Yeah,
and
he does.
I'm here for a reason.
Yes.
Because I could have succumbed, you know, while being born. But he's allowed me to go through these things. And that's why I'm very open online.
Girl, you gonna have my eyelashes falling off.
I know she gonna have all of us crying. My makeup start
That's why
running.
I'm very open, because I don't want people to hide. I don't want people in my situation, because there's a lot of women now who are going through what I'm going through, you know. I don't want them to hide and feel their life is over, you know. I want them to try to remain strong, but that depends on the type of person you are, to be honest. Some people don't, and I hate to say it like this, but some people don't have that strength.
That's right.
You know, some people won't share. You know, some people just will hide and just say, I'm done. You know, lupus has me and I can't do no more. But I refused because I knew I had a purpose.
That's right.
You know, I had a purpose. I had children who were looking up to me. And myself, you know, I had goals in life, you know.
You have me now. We are family.
I just look on the bright side. I've always been positive, and I'm always like, you know, this happened to me for a reason. You know, all this is not in vain, and I truly believe that. So, hey, I have this crap, but I'm not letting it take the life out of me, take my happiness, my joy. I'm not letting it do that.
And you're doing great at it, because this is a step. We have to bring awareness. We have to let this world know, you know. And what got me this month is Lupus Awareness Month. They wanted to acknowledge one day And, at first we all supported, it was Lupus Awareness Month. This year, they said one day wear your purple. I said, oh no, lupus is 365 days, and I'm going to make sure everybody know every day of the year, Monday through Sunday, lupus awareness, you must know it does exist. They tried to put mental health, not discrediting mental health, but it override it, it just superseded, like cancer when we have cancer. And I'm, again, not discrediting any of that. All of that is very important, because with our situation, we deal with all that as well. But the world, try to put that as a pedestal and demise things that they don't know anything about. And that's why it's very important that we're here today and you are here today to discuss. It's here, and everybody needs to know what we're going through. The good and the bad.
And the bad. That's why I don't care about
That's
the
right.
stare. I would rather them ask me what's wrong with me or what happened there. Because sometimes I'm like, would you rather, I actually told someone, do you want to ask me a question? Is there something you want to know? And then they're just shunned away. A lot of times I catch people staring, they immediately turn their head. I just, sometimes I just laugh, but then what really hurts me, I scare the children.
Oh, no.
I've had a couple of children like, oh, mommy, the monster, and we'll start crying, actually. And I was
no.
my goodness.
So how does that make you feel when that happens?
I feel sad because I don't want to be scary. What I mean? I don't want to appear scary. But when I see people, I automatically smile, so, I try to just smile. So a lot of times I get smiles back, even with the kids, some will turn their head, to their parents or what have you. But it's the grown-ups that are the headaches.
You would think they would ask,
They're gonna give me the most hell, because it's like, come on, you were raised, stare. It's rude to stare. Like,
exactly.
Ask me. I should get a shirt. Just ask me.
You should get a shirt.
That's a good idea.
Just ask me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just ask me. So I have a couple more questions to just ask you. So my first question is, what are you most optimistic about? You talked about beginning again in your life. What are you most optimistic about in your new beginning at the moment?
I'm optimistic about living a full life. I'm optimistic about finding love again. I'm beautiful.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
I deserve, to be loved. And I'm just optimistic about the opportunities that are in front of me. I don't know exactly what they all are now, but by me having this kidney transplant, I just feel the world is mine. I'm going to start traveling, I'm going to just start living more and just doing what I can do. I'm not going to put, overexert myself, because I can't, but I'm just, now that I'm able to live, I'm going to do some living. So starting over, it was hard. It still is hard, because I'm used to being within a family structure. It's just me. My children come visit every other weekend. You know what I mean? So that was difficult. I felt really guilty about the choice I had to make between the separation and my children. It's a lot, but
yeah. Well, and empty nesting is a lot. It's just, you're used to having your kids around and the energy that they bring and all of that. And then one day they're like not at home anymore. And it's just that in and of itself is a transition. And then so to become an empty nester and struggle with, living with lupus it is a challenge, but one that I feel very confident that you are going to rise to with great ease. So I have one other question for you, and that is, if you had to leave one word or one phrase today with our listeners to encourage them, what would it be?
Since it's only one word, say this, because I'm going to turn it into an acronym.
Okay.
Hope.
Yes.
Hope.
Hope. Okay.
Hold on. Pain ends.
Oh, okay.
Say it again. Say it again.
Hope. Keep hope. Keep your hope and your faith. Hope. Hold on. Pain ends. It really does.
Yes.
It's like we
Love
go
it.
through lupus is, it has the stages and cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel, just remain hopeful because there are better days ahead.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
You know what? I don't want this conversation to end because I'm really enjoying talking to you, and
I
you're
have one more thing when you're done.
inspiring me. Okay, good. So I'm hoping that we can talk again and have you back on the show again, but I'm going to let you go ahead and share what you wanted to share before we end today.
Okay. I'm more than happy to join you guys again. I love it. Thank you. But what I meant to say when you were asking me about my new life,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this like this. I worked my entire illness.
Mm.
Entire illness. The doctors called me off work to come to dialysis.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah. So now that I'm here, I'm not working. I don't have no children. I feel light because I was married, a mother, a wife. I still had to cook. I still had to do homework. Still had to clean up the house. I still had to go to work. I still had to go grocery shopping. I still had to go pay bills. I did all this sick for 25 years.
Oh, gosh.
So now that I'm free, my children are gone. I'm starting over. I'm single. I appreciate it because I worked hard
Yes.
in pain on hard days. I go to work, can't get out the bed, but I got to go to work because if I don't get a check, we're not going to eat. My husband worked as well, but both incomes were needed.
Yes.
And so I can breathe.
You can exhale. You can
Yes.
exhale. And by the grace of God,
By the grace of God.
Yes.
It was
You're
him alone.
here.
I can't take the credit for nothing. It was all God.
Yeah.
He gets the glory in all this.
Yes, and the support of that beautiful mom of yours and family.
It's Linda.
So it's obvious that your strength comes from two sources, from God and your rock, your mom.
The joy of the Lord is my strength.
That's right.
I should live and not die. I should declare the works and the goodness of the Lord.
Yes. Yes.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm able to speak to you guys, to you ladies, excuse me, and to the world.
Yeah.
I'm a prime example that I've changed. I did a 360. The pictures before and after are two different people. If you didn't know me, you would say that's two different people. But yeah, I had to overcome all that.
But you know what? When I'm getting choked up, your face has changed, but your spirit has not.
I won't let it. I will not. And that's another thing. Lupus doesn't have me in that way. I won't let it.
Nope, your spirit has not changed. So the fighter that you came here as is the fighter that you live here as. And we thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
It's my
And
pleasure.
sharing your story. Okay, stop it, Gina. I'm the one who's supposed to have it all together.
Okay, y'all got to bring in some
Thank
Rocky
you for sharing
music,
your
some
story.
theme.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Gina. I
And hope that we get to have you back again one day.
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Once you get your new beginning going, you come back and tell us exactly what you're doing and how you're doing it. We want to hear all about that when you're ready.
Before she goes, anything you want to tell the world?
Yes, all the Lupies out there, keep going. Keep your head up. Stay strong. Whatever the doctors are telling you to do, if it's diet changes, whatever it may be, just do it because it's beneficial.
Okay.
But just stay positive and know there are better days ahead.
Absolutely.
Better days.
Yes.
Better days. Thank you so much, beautiful.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. You have been a part of the Lupus It Chose Me podcast. We hope that you will join us next time for another edition of this podcast. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Nefertiti.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Lupus It Chose Me podcast with LaTonya Bias. LaTonya is a native of Chicago, author, and philanthropist. She has a PhD in business and is the founder and CEO of the Love Life Lupus Foundation. Although she battles lupus every day, LaTonya is committed to creating awareness, sharing knowledge, and funding a cure for this disease. Married for more than 20 years, she has 3 children and 3 grandchildren who light up her life. Until next time, LaTonya wants you to remember you can learn to love your life with lupus. You can learn more about LaTonya and her work by visiting the foundation website at lovelifeLupusFoundation.org. Her book, Lupus It Chose Me, is available at Amazon.com. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe, share, and listen on Apple Podcasts or wherever you like to stream.
The opinions of the guest are their own and do not represent the opinions of the Lupus It Chose Me podcast. The podcast content is informational only and is not intended to treat, diagnose, or cure. You should consult with your doctor or medical professional before you make any decisions that could adversely affect your health.